to talk about science. And I get this reputation sometimes of being anti-science. And I'm not. I'm not anti-science. I just know where science belongs. And I know that's presumptuous sounding. But here's my argument, and you can make your own decision. There are groups of people out there who believe that the scientific method will lead us towards civil utopia. I guess let's lead us towards utopia. Let's say that. Or as close to utopia as humanly possible. The scientific method alone now. That's interesting. And actually, I think it's a waste of breath, too. And that's what I want to talk about. There's a group on the internet, predominantly, that was started, or at least ignited, or at least supported, I don't know, one of those words, one of those verbs, by the people who did the Zeitgeist movies. I know a lot of you have seen that. The Zeitgeist people have given props to what is called the Venus Project. The Venus Project is an alternate society based not on capitalism, not on supply and demand, but on scientific need, I guess. So it would be essentially the scientific method governing the distribution of resources. Now, if you are one of those science geeks that I've picked on before, or if you are from the Thunderfoot camp, you probably think of this stuff like pornography. Like, you're raging right now, thinking like, yeah, that's what I want. And actually, if you're a Star Trek fan, it kind of follows the same light, where they are in this futuristic society where they've done away with capitalism and they don't have any monetary systems, and yet everyone sort of rolls along for the greater good, and they do things for the betterment of society. They suppose, some ignorant bastards suppose, that something like that would be possible with science alone. Now, I'm not going to argue that that kind of society is not possible. Rather, it's just how we get about that sort of thing. How do we get there? The scientific method, I say unto thee, verily, verily, I say unto thee, the scientific method, and science in general, is going to show you, ooh, hill, don't fall, the scientific method is going to be best method of inquiry into physical causation, okay? Physical causation. Now, that's a huge umbrella. That's a huge umbrella. But some people take it just a little too far. A little too far. What science cannot do for us is solve sociological problems. Okay? It was not the scientific method that brought Martin Luther King to march on Washington. You know, it wasn't the scientific method that gave us the Equal Protection Act under the Constitution, or that gave women the right to vote, or any of that, or now in some states gays the right to marry. None of that was solved. None of those problems, and maybe you don't think it's a problem, but I do, and really any of those kinds of problems were not solved by the scientific method. Sociological problems are only going to be solved in a sociological way, and namely in a philosophic way, in a way that we debate each other. You know, there's this ongoing debate here on YouTube as to whether or not YouTube matters. And here's just the fucking circumcised fucking truth of that argument, and I don't want to hear it anymore. YouTube matters to people who are on fucking YouTube. The rest of the world out here, though, who don't necessarily know what YouTube is, or don't care, or especially those who watch YouTube but not our circle on YouTube, it doesn't mean diddly squat to them. But YouTube is important because it is a medium of discussion, and it's only through those kinds of mediums that things like the civil rights movement come about. It's only through dialogue that those kinds of changes come. It's not through a laboratory, or some guy in a lab coat with beakers and, you know, bubbling liquids and all that bullshit. It's none of that stuff. Oh, we're going to the laundromat, and I almost missed my turn. it's going to be done through dialogue. So for all you guys who are jumping up and down about whether or not YouTube matters, it matters to the fucking people who watch YouTube. And in a general sense, any forum of discussion where you debate issues like God and morality and politics and economics and I don't know, I think that's about it. All the big stuff, yes, it's important. But science cannot solve sociological problems. That's why we need YouTube. And that's why we need you to stay and continue and to fuck it. Okay, have a good day, guys.